Good morning. Thank you, Handbell Choir. And Gina Wells, our guest conductor, thank you so much. That music was beautiful. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Arlington. We are a people of many backgrounds, sexual orientations, races, genders, disabilities, and abilities, both seen and unseen. At UUCA, we come for community, find inspiration, and live with purpose together. My name is Jim Finley, and I'm a grateful member of the Board of Directors. Today is Sunday, November 17th, and whether this is your first time worshiping with us or your regular Sunday routine, we are glad you are here. Today our service, led by UUCA member and minister Reverend Roberta Finkelstein, will serve as our presiding minister, and she will be exploring the theme of autumn in our spirituality. We here at UUCA are a highly active and engaged community, so I encourage each of you to go to our newsletter for all the latest news and activities of our church, or visit the calendar tab of our website. Thank you, and welcome to UUCA.
Good morning. My name is Betsy Rosenblatt Rosso, and it is my privilege to serve as your worship associate today. My pronouns are she, they, and I'm very happy to be joined in leading this worship service by, as Jim mentioned, the Reverend Roberta Finkelstein. Roberta was ordained by this congregation in 1992 and then served all over as a minister, and when she retired, came back here to join us sitting in the pews, and we're very grateful to have her as a member and helping lead worship today. I also am pleased to, pleased to recognize our director of music at the piano, David Mann, our song leader, Chuck Ellis, our guest cellist, Anna Kabilski, the wonderful handbell choir, our wonderful guest director, Gina, and thank you to all of you for coming today on here and online. And now I invite you to greet your neighbor, greet someone who you didn't come in with, and tell them something that you are thankful for.
It is so good to be with one another, is it not? And now as we transition from fellowship to worship, I offer you these words from Robert Weston. This is called Harbinger of Frost. Autumn, we know, is life en route to death. The asters are but harbingers of frost. The trees, flaunting their colors at the sky, in other times will follow where the leaves have fallen, and so shall we. Yet other lives will come. So may we now accept, embrace the mystery of life we hold a while, nor mourn that it outgrows each separate self, but still rejoice that we may have our day. Lift high our colors to the sky and give in our time fresh glory to the earth.
Each Sunday, we light a candle of compassion for those in our community and around the world who are suffering. We light this candle for those who are facing uncertainty and experiencing fear, for those whose kitchens are empty of food, and those who don't have permanent housing or are in danger of losing their homes. We wish for them nourishment, stability, and safety. We share our compassion with those whose jobs are not quite enough to pay the bills and those looking for work. We wish for them opportunities, fulfillment, and ease. We share our compassion with those trying to escape violent situations and wish for them sanctuary, refuge, and hope. We share our compassion with those struggling with physical or mental illness and the people who care for them. We wish for them healing and peace and solace. We share our compassion with those whose identities are threatened because they are queer or gender expansive or trans. We wish for them protection, nurturing, and that they know they are loved for exactly who they are. May we extend compassion to all those who need it and to ourselves. Amen. Please join me in our chalice lighting words. I will speak the first 2 lines, and I invite you to join in for the last 4 lines, which are printed in your order of service. We gather together as a community of memory and hope to celebrate life and its infinite possibilities for love. We light this chalice as a symbol of the light within every human heart. May our individual sparks meet and merge, bringing both light and warmth to the world. Now I invite you to stand as you are willing and able to sing with us hymn number 52, Sweet Fields of Autumn.
In sweet fields of autumn, the gold grain is falling, the white clouds drift lonely, the wild swan is calling. Alas for the daisies, the tall fern and grasses, when winds sweep and rainfall fill lowlands and passes. The snows of December fill windy hollows, the bleak rain trails after, and March wind shall follow. The deer through the valleys leave print of their goings, and diamonds of sleet mark the ridges of snowing. The stillness of death shall stoop over the water, the plover sweep low where the pale streamlets falter. But deep in the earth plot the black seed is living, when spring sounds her bugles for rousing and giving.
Now I'd like to invite all the kids or kids at heart to come join me on the chancel. Hello. I like the flowers in your hair. Hi. Thanks for coming up, everybody. Do you know what holiday is coming up? Thanksgiving. What do we do at Thanksgiving? Eat? That's true. What else?
We celebrate.
What do we celebrate?
We celebrate
how our community is together. That's a great thing to celebrate. What else do we do at Thanksgiving? Isaac? Eat also, we eat more. Eat and then eat some more, eat leftovers. Yeah. Give thanks. Yeah. So what kind of things are you all thankful for right now? Yeah. Family and friends. Me too. Yes.
I'm thankful for uni.
Uni. Excellent. I love uni. Yes.
Stuffies.
Stuffies. Perfect.
Uni is a stuff.
Your dog. Yes. Food. Isaac.
Peace.
Peace. Anybody else? Yeah. Yes.
My kitty.
Your kitty. Perfect. I'm thankful for all these things and for the opportunity to be here with all of you guys on Sunday mornings. And I'm going to read this book called The Secret of Saying Thanks to give you guys even more ideas about what you might be thankful for and how to give thanks. The Secret of Saying Thanks by Douglas Wood, illustrated by Greg Shedd. I'm glad Uni is listening carefully. The world is full of secrets, gentle, shy things that some people know and some don't. The best secrets are the ones that make us happy, and the best thing about any secret is sharing it with someone else who wants to know. Perhaps you'd like to know a secret, one of the happiest ones of all. You will surely find it for yourself one day. You'll discover it all on your own, maybe when you least expect it. You might discover the secret at dawn, a morning like all other mornings. The sun climbs over the edge of the earth and begins to fill the world with light and warmth. It touches your cheeks with a golden ray, and you say softly, simply, thanks. Thank you, sun, for the gift of a new day, for all the choices and challenges, for all the beauty that it brings. Or sometimes, perhaps you'll notice a flower, as if for the very first time, and thank it for all of its bright brothers and sisters, for the grace of their blossoms and the sweetness of their breath, for coloring your path and reminding you how easy it can be to smile. Or you might discover the secret when you find yourself under an old tree and, grateful for the cool shade on a hot day, stay a while beneath its limbs, remembering there the good and gentle gifts of all trees all over the earth, forests to explore, leaves to sing in the breeze, and roots to hold the earth in place, and simple lessons in how to grow. One long day, you may stop to rest upon a rock, a silent stone that's been waiting age upon age for someone to come along and just say, thank you. Thank you, all stones and rocks and pebbles and hills and mountains. Thank you for your silence and patience, for standing still and not changing in a world so full of noise and speed and change. You may find the secret when you hear a bird sing and feel grateful for the gentle music of the skies, for flash of wing, brightness of feathers, for the good company of graceful creatures who dance upon the wind. And perhaps you'll remember to thank all creatures who swim or crawl or creep, or burrow or climb or run, creatures with fur or feathers, horns or hooves or scales or shells. They remind us of the mystery and beauty of all life, and they save us from a great loneliness here on our small blue planet, sailing among the stars. And those stars themselves, tiny twinkling beams from far, far away, farther than you can even dream, that give just enough light for dreaming or wishing upon. Don't forget to thank them and the soft, shining moon, the night sun that helps us find our way in the dark. Beneath the moon, the earth's waters are spread with silver, lakes and rivers, ponds and puddles, and streams and oceans. It is the waters that make the magic of life possible. Perhaps one day, taking a cool drink or paddling a canoe, or swimming or splashing in the sun, you will remember to say, thanks. Thank you, waters, for sweet drinks, for cool swims, and reflecting sunsets, and for the gift of life itself. Maybe you'll find that the secret in your own home, sitting around a table with people you love, giving thanks for good food and the good earth that gave it, for the many hands that prepared it, and for the family to share it. Perhaps one day you'll feel the secret when someone is holding your hand, or kissing away tears, or hugging you close, or reading a story, or tucking you into bed at night and reminding you to say your prayers. Or it might be in your bedtime prayer itself, as you say thanks for sun and moon and stars, and rocks and trees and flowers and waters and birds and animals and all those who love you and the love you feel for them. For here is the secret, if you've not already guessed it. The heart that gives thanks is a happy one, for we cannot feel thankful and unhappy at the same time. The more we say thanks, the more we find to be thankful for. And the more we find to be thankful for, the happier we become. We don't give thanks because we're happy. We are happy because we give thanks. The end. Thank you all. Now you can go to your classes.
I was reading.
I know.
Peace to you on your way. May you grow in love each day, meeting new friends and opening your mind to the wonders of the world you will find, to the wonders of the world you will find.
Our worship theme for the month of November is repair. The concept of repair is woven through all of our services this month. When I think of the word repair, what comes to my mind is the Jewish spiritual practice of tikkun olam, the repair of the world. Now that may sound big, but we are not called to repair the whole world. Every one of us is called to repair whatever small, broken piece is in front of us. But before we can repair the world, we need to repair our broken souls. And I can think of no better way to repair our souls than to share some deep and nurturing silence. And so I invite you now into an attitude of meditation or prayer, however it is most meaningful for you. Feet on the floor, grounded to the earth. Soften your gaze. Unclench your jaws. Unclench your shoulders. And relax into some moments of nurturing, shared silence.
Cántale tu compasión, sopla volar sobre el mar, hasta modear la justicia de la vida. Arraigame the stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice, roots wholly close, wings set me free, Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
As you may know, UCA gives 70% of our weekly offering to partners in the community around the world who are doing good work. And the remaining 30% goes back into the church for our own internal work. So this month's Share the Plate partner is AFAC, the Arlington Food Assistance Center. AFAC is Arlington's primary food support provider to individuals and families with low incomes. Through centers around the county, it provides food staples and protein products to those who need them to make ends meet. UCA volunteers distribute food to AFAC clients bi-monthly, typically serving 100 to 200 Arlington families each time. They also assist with other activities, including food drives, sorting donations, and direct distribution. Our UCA representative to AFAC is Burke Kapler. Burke, would you wave? If you have any questions about AFAC, either you want to volunteer or you might need food yourself or someone you know needs food, please talk to Burke and he can hook you up. There are many ways to give to AFAC. They're printed in your order of service or online if you're watching from home. We appreciate any resources you're able to give, or if you need help, we encourage you to reach out to AFAC to get the food you need. Will the ushers please come to collect the offering? Thank you to all of our musicians. That was magnificent. Please join me in blessing our offering. I will speak the first two lines, and I invite you to join me for the remaining lines, which are printed in your order of service or on your screen. We bless and receive these gifts, opening our hearts to true generosity. Let us be grateful when we give, be it time, talent, or treasure. Let us be grateful for our needs and the experience of vulnerability. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts to nurture this congregation. Thank you. Our reading is The Turning Leaves by Robert Weston. In what the autumn colors say to me, turning from tired green to brilliant gold, scarlet and crimson, then maroon and brown, I hear a deeper voice than summer knew. It's true that the colors say time's running out, and the leaves falling, falling. As from our lives, days and years fall off, till of lost strength we shall not know again. They paint for us the story of our time, life passing, and the deeds we might have done, the creations waiting in vain for our fulfillment, now seemingly forgotten, neglected. But they also shame our too ready resignation and the giving up of dreams. Let the heart speak in rebellion against defeat. Let the failures of the past be guideposts. Let the lights of our individual lives flame with a dignity and color each its own. And from each separate life, let a fresh glow kindle in hearts a greater understanding, compassion, and a reverent yet courageous acceptance of life still going on.
Thank you, Betsy, for this collaboration. Once upon a time, all religions were in some sense earth-based. People lived by the rhythms of the seasons, the waxing and waning of the moon, the ebb and flow of the tides. They felt awe watching a beautiful sunset, fear and trembling in the face of a storm, and gratitude for the bounty of the harvest. And they built their religions around these feelings, these experiences of awe and fear and gratitude. And then things changed. Many places on earth moved from an agrarian to an industrial to a post-industrial economy. And in that process, we lost much of the wisdom embedded in those ancient religions. More recently, science, modern science, has begun to teach us about the consequences of that loss. Warming oceans, greenhouse gases, the dramatic evidence we are now seeing of the changing global climate. Part of the solution to that crisis is scientific, and part of it may be to reclaim some of that ancient earth-based wisdom. Over the past 3 decades, the span of a generation, earth-based spiritualities have found their way into the Unitarian Universalist pantheon of theologies. Back in the 1990s, when you ordained me, the language of earth-based spiritualities was working its way through the somewhat labyrinthine multi-year process of acceptance in our association. And then in 1995, delegates to the General Assembly, that annual meeting of the Unitarian Universalist Association, voted to add this language to our statement of sources. Spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. Do you hear that call to carefully reconsider our relationship to the earth in light of what modern science has taught us? Evoking the tenets of environmental stewardship, this approach to spirituality replaces exploitation with reverence. Rather than understanding ourselves to be the crown of creation, free to manipulate the environment for our own needs, we understand ourselves to be a part of an interdependent web. Earth-based spirituality affirms the divinity in all living things, in trees and mountains and animals and people. It calls us to live carefully and mindfully on this planet. And it also reminds us about what the rhythms of nature can teach us. At the time of the autumn equinox, for example, the number of hours of light and darkness are equal. Equinox, equal. This natural balance between light and dark can be a nudge to us to seek balance in our lives as well. Autumn is a time to gather in the harvest and to take careful stock of what will be needed for the winter. Whether or not we are literally reaping what we have sown, autumn is a time to focus on an inner harvest as well. It's an in-between time. The high-energy activities of summer are behind us, but we are not quite ready to hibernate, although many of us in the last few weeks did consider it. As the bridge between summer and winter, autumn is a time to slow down gradually, to recalibrate, to balance. The balance of light and dark at the fall equinox models for us the balance we need to seek in our own lives. Now, at the risk of both stating the obvious and misusing any number of metaphors, the harvest of this autumn has been pretty bleak. And the winter we are facing is chilling on so many levels. So many of us are angry and confused and scared. Since Election Day, we have already seen some of the harvest we will all be reaping. An ethically compromised and totally unqualified nominee for Attorney General, a bunch of spoiled billionaires in charge of making our government more efficient. So many people are at serious risk. Refugees, queer and trans folk, people of color, women in need of reproductive health care. The list is long and daunting. And the work of resistance and providing refuge is daunting. And yet we know that our Unitarian Universalist values call us to action. But we also know, or need to maybe remind ourselves, that to be effective guardians of justice and freedom, spiritual self-care is essential. Now, you've all seen the advice flying around the ether. Breathe, as Reverend Amanda taught us last Sunday. Stay hydrated. Make time for rest and restoration. Find your people and stay connected. And I'd like to add one more. Let the spirituality of autumn of seeking balance, of slowing down, let that spirituality invite you into some times of intentional solitude. Now, this is the point in the sermon where I go a little stream of consciousness. As soon as I typed the word solitude, I started thinking about the Duke Ellington song, Billie Holiday singing, "In my solitude you haunt me with reveries of days gone by. In my solitude you taunt me with memories that never die." Now, the truth is, Billie is really singing not so much about solitude, but about loneliness. Her magical voice expresses a deep sadness about being abandoned and yearning for the rekindling of a lost relationship. The theologian Paul Tillich wrote that loneliness describes the pain of being alone, while solitude describes the glory of being alone. Perhaps Duke should have called the song Loneliness instead of Solitude. But anyway, think about it. Before the pandemic, many of us struggled to find enough time for the glory of being alone. We didn't have enough solitude. We were too busy. And then COVID came along. And we embraced solitude as a form of self-care and as a form of social justice. We wore masks and we stayed home and we practiced social distancing to protect ourselves and our loved ones, but also those practices were an intentional way to fight the spread of the virus together and to protect the most vulnerable among us, even though they might not be in our family or friend circle. As we emerged from the acute phase of the pandemic, we were so happy to be together again. And we began to acknowledge what we couldn't really say in the midst of those months and months of crisis, that the isolation was painful and costly. We were lonely. We missed each other. Our children missed valuable months of school and socialization, and we have not yet recouped those losses. We have not yet taken the full measure of what that pandemic will eventually cost us, both as individuals and as institutions. So why then am I talking about solitude as a spiritual practice? Because we still need that spiritual practice of solitude even in our togetherness, especially this autumn. My colleague, Reverend Scott Alexander, defines a spiritual practice as anything that you do regularly and with intention. Solitude, just being alone with your thoughts for a while, can be a spiritual practice if you do it regularly and with intention. You choose that solitude in order to probe your inner being. In solitude, we await the promptings of the Spirit. We wait to hear that still, small voice within. In solitude, we may discover new sources of inspiration. We might even get a hint of what we need to do to prepare for the next stage of our life journey. Loneliness is the poverty of self, wrote the poet May Sarton. Solitude is the richness of self. And yet it is difficult for us to experience the glory and the richness of solitude on a regular basis. And herein lies the real conundrum about solitude. We need to be together in some way to experience solitude as a richness of self. It is hard to practice solitude regularly and intentionally without a community of faith to support that practice. To turn inward and to grow spiritually, we need to be, in some sense, whether it's physically or virtually, surrounded by our beloved fellow Unitarian Universalists. To experience the richness of self, we need each other. To be part of a religious community is to have the assurance that our aloneness will be solitude and not loneliness. I find myself, in preparing for this service, going back to some of my old favorite readings, the Robert Weston readings, and this one by Ken Patton, which is in the back of our hymnal. Some of you may know it. We arrive out of many singular rooms, walking over the branching streets. We come to be assured that brothers and sisters surround us to restore their images on our eyes. We enlarge our voices in common speaking and singing. We try again that solitude found in the midst of those who with us seek their hidden reckonings. Our eyes reclaim the remembered faces. Their voices stir the surrounding air. The warmth of their hand assures us, and the gladness of our spoken name. This is the reason of cities, of homes, of assemblies in the houses of worship. It is good to be with one another. So we come together intentionally. We are known, we are assured, we are made glad. And in that context, it then becomes safe for us to seek that solitude found in the midst of those who with us seek their hidden reckonings. Having known what it is to be held by a safe and loving and dependable community of faith, we can choose to turn inward for a time and seek those hidden reckonings. And then we turn outward again to do the work of living our UU values, offering sanctuary to those whose very lives are imperiled by the politics of hate, resisting illegal and unethical attempts to enshrine hate and discrimination into our national ethos, offering radical welcome to folks who may still be waiting to discover what each one of us has discovered here, a community of faith where we can be our true selves. Some of you may be familiar with these words also from Thomas Merton. They were quite often quoted for a while. There is a pervasive form of contemporary violence that is activism and overwork. The rush and pressure of modern life are a form, perhaps the most common form, of its innate violence. To allow oneself to be carried away by a multitude of conflicting concerns, to surrender to too many demands, to commit oneself to too many projects, to want to help everyone and everything, is to succumb to violence. The frenzy of our activism neutralizes our work for peace. It destroys our inner capacity for peace. It destroys the fruitfulness of our work because it kills the root of inner wisdom, which makes work fruitful. Now, if Thomas Merton is right, and I believe he is, solitude then becomes not a luxury, but a necessity, a necessary antidote to the violence of modern-day busyness. It is the balm that soothes our stress. It is like a magic bean that grows an amazingly generous vine that feeds our souls. It is what makes it possible for us to be wise rather than just smart. Do you know the difference between being smart and being wise? Being smart is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Being wise is not putting tomatoes in your fruit salad. You guys are more awake at the 9:15 service. It took them a minute to... And of course, being wise is what makes it possible for us to join communities of dissent and resistance. So take the time to live into the spirituality of autumn solitude, to experience awe and gratitude, to slow down, to gather in the harvest of mind and heart, to seek balance in the equinox. You know, I had thought about ending this sermon by singing my own version of the Duke Ellington song. And then I said to myself, you know, Roberta, you can belt out a hymn, but I don't think you can sing like Billie Holiday. But I did rewrite the lyrics. Here's what I wrote. In our solitude, we're healed with reveries of calm and serenity. In our solitude, we're comforted with evolving possibilities. We sit in our chairs, stillness everywhere. Everyone can be so calm. With peace everywhere, we sit and we share the breath of life with all humanity. So in this season of autumn, of fleeting splendor, let us pause often to appreciate both what passes and what endures. In this season of gathering in, let us pause often to express our gratitude for the bounty of our lives. In this season of life en route to death, let a fresh glow kindle in our hearts a greater understanding, compassion, and a reverent yet courageous acceptance of life still going on in autumn. And now I invite you to sing together hymn number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth.
For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
Please join me in these words as we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light and warmth it represents. These we carry with us, bringing our sparks of love to the world.
Last Sunday in her sermon, Reverend Amanda told us how she learned about the election results, so I'd like to tell you how I learned. Every morning, one of the first things I look at is a Facebook group called Clergy with Cats. I'm not making this up. It is interfaith and global with thousands of members, and often when something hard is being said, it is said in the cat's voice. And so the morning after the election, the first thing I read was this post from Matka, the cat. This morning when it was too early and not the right time, my mama person woke up and reached for her little small light box. She did tippity-tapping a little, and then she made a sound like she was sick and said, "No!" I think she needed calm, so I stayed curled up near her. And now we will close our service with these words which were written by Matka, the cat's mama person, Diane Doncaster. No, I can't explain it. I can't understand it. But even this nightmare does not end the imperative to live in love, compassion, generosity, care for creation, care for those most in need, and kindness to each other. It will take all of our strength at times, and we will need all the grace and hope that the God of our understanding will enable us to receive. Our greatest enemy now is despair. So we will grieve, We will name our worst fears, we will pray our anguish, and then we will make the next choice to act in love, and the next, and the next, and the next, regardless of the cost. So go in peace, my friends, and return always in love. Amen.
In my solitude, you haunt me with reveries of days gone by. In my solitude, you taunt me with memories that never die. I sit in my chair, filled with despair. No one could be so sad. With gloom everywhere, I sit and I stare. I know that I'll soon go mad. In my solitude, I'm praying, dear Lord above, send back my love. I sit in my chair, filled with despair. No one could be so sad. With gloom everywhere, I sit and I stare. I know that I'll soon go mad, 'cause in my solitude, I'm